Hello. Queen of Credit here. Have my Lakers shirt on today. Playing the Pelicans, New Orleans. So while I have the time, I was going to go live on Facebook and YouTube, but I won't have the time to do that this evening. So while I'm driving, I'm going live to share some breaking news with you. So INTUIT buys Credit Karma, right? INTUIT buys Credit Karma. And why is that important? Why is that significant? Well, INTUIT already owns Mint, right? INTUIT already owns Mint. INTUIT also owns TurboTax and Excel worksheets. Hello. Come on in. Make sure you like and share this. I will upload this on YouTube. So YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up as well. And also comment as my YouTube family always does. Facebook, share this to your personal page. Give some hearts, show some digital love. You know I love the digital love, right? So INTUIT owns Mint already. And also TurboTax company's Excel worksheet. So what does this mean for your new FICO scoring model? I'm really surprised, because if you've been following me, you know that what really prompted me, hello Daryl, hello Mr. Porter, what really prompted me to go into credit repair was my divorce. My divorce in, I think, 2018. So I had repaired so many negative items on my ex-husband's credit report and friends and family for years, right? And on the divorce, I just decided to take a leap off the porch. I wouldn't advise a lot of people to do this. If you want to do your own credit repair business, I advise you to have a mentor. But I've had the years of experience and the knowledge of years. That's why sometimes people ask me, what is a book I can read? There is no one book. It's a series of books and information of seeking knowledge. And so, in doing so, I'm really surprised that a lot of people, especially on YouTube, that have been in the game longer than I have for years are not talking about the FICO 10. Now, this is what I am noticing on YouTube, is that, number one, a lot of the companies who made six figures or millions from selling AU trade lines are already shifting their language, shifting their business model, or stop selling them altogether. One of the most well-known AU trade line is wholesale trade lines. Then you have a lot of nose credit people that's, making statements like, I'm no longer offering this trade line. I can only offer a trade line from Discover or this, that, and the other. That's the forewarning that this shift is going to take place this summer of 2020. The next forewarning is INTUIT purchasing Credit Karma. So if you're on social media a lot, Instagram, Facebook, mainly one of the things that's well known is someone that's promoting their credit repair services having a screenshot of a Credit Karma credit score, advertising how they've increased someone's credit score off Credit Karma, right? That's always, to me, just the lowest form of credit advertising someone can do, right? And the reason why I'm saying that, because number one, Credit Karma is not your true FICO score. So what is a FICO score? FICO. FICO is Fair Isaac Corporation. They are the founders, or the company, or the people that created the components that make up a good credit score. The percentages: 30% debt ratio, 35% paying on time, 10% new inquiries or inquiries or hard pulls, right? So sometimes I get people that will ask me, what is an AU trade line? You know, what is an AU trade line? I don't know what you mean when you say AU trade line. AU stands for authorized user, right? AU stands for authorized user, meaning that, and this can only be done with credit cards. So what happens is that when people want to use or leverage someone else's credit card and partake or partnership to be, I guess partnership probably is not the right word, but to partake and be able to leverage their good payment history on their credit card or a high credit limit, that person can add someone as an authorized user. For example, I added my daughter as an authorized user some years ago because I pay my credit cards on time and there's good credit history. Now, she does not have access to use my credit cards, but I just add her because now a portion or a percentage of my good payment history is now applied to help build her credit profile. But when it's done through a business concept and not a concept where you are doing it for your family member, your child, your niece, your nephew, someone that you personally know, people pay unknown people to add them as an authorized user, and that it was a six-figure $1 million business. But the thing is, my daughter stays on my accounts for duration or lifetime. When you pay a business to add you as an authorized user from their clients or consumers that they pay, right, to allow them to use their credit history, you're only going to be on that profile for 30 to 60 days at the most. So that means you immediately have to try to get financing for whatever you're trying to get financing for with your improved credit score, because once you are dropped, then so will your credit score go back to its original state. Now, some people still get denied because they still have things like collections, charge-offs, and too many inquiries on their credit report. Inquiries are when you go and allow someone to pull your credit, and that could drop your score from 2 to 5 points, sometimes more depending on how high your score is. And also, it decreases your credit history because you're applying for new credit in a small percentage way, right? Also, if you have over 5 inquiries on your credit score report in 2 years, you're automatically disqualified for most times when you're trying to get approved for credit cards, and especially business credit cards, right? So the only time I've ever recommended that someone pay to get an authorized user is when they don't know anyone that will add them for free, a family member with good credit at no cost, And or number two, they already have a clean credit profile, meaning no negatives, no charge-offs, no collections. They have 5 or less inquiries, hard pulls on their credit report. If they're trying to get a business credit card that does not report on their personal credit score, and they want that business credit card to be a high limit credit card like $20,000, $25,000, and they don't have a personal credit card that has a high limit. Maybe their personal credit card is just a $5,000 credit card or a $10,000. So having a high limit authorized user with all those components in place will best position you to get approved for a high limit business credit card. Because if you want a business credit card, you want something that's, $20,000 and above, because you need it to do and conduct business, right? So your transactions may be higher. So INTUIT buying Credit Karma is just a forewarning that Credit Karma is now changing over to adjust to the new FICO 10. So if you don't know what FICO 10 is, FICO 10 has already been approved through the Senate to be implemented this summer, this year, which means it will affect 1.4 million. If you're watching this live running replay, I want you to put that in the comment if you're not driving like I am. 1.4 million Americans' credit score just by this adjustment is looking to drop 20 to 40 points this summer. So when you have people that's already under a 680, this is going, I'm over 700, I'm at 800. And I don't see my credit score at risk at dropping by that volume, but a lot of people will. And this is why it's going to drop, and this is why INTUIT bought our Credit Karma. You have to, and look at the price that I put in there, 7.1 billion. Credit Karma is a free platform for clients, free credit monitoring system for people, consumers, people to be able to view their credit scores. And they make their money from the affiliate products that it sells. Like if you go through them to get to try to get approved for a loan, a personal loan, or a credit card that they recommend. But the thing about Credit Karma is not the score that the banks use anyway. That's your Vantage score. It's not the score that when you go shopping for a vehicle or a loan, that those lenders, those banks that's going to finance or not finance you for a loan is going to pull from anyway. So that's why when people have a 700 plus Credit Karma score, when they go to their credit union or a bank for approval, it will show them in the low or the mid 600s, 650s. And they say, well, my Credit Karma report showing that I'm a 739 or 745. But what the banks use is called FICO, FICO. So your best interest is to go to myfico.com and look at your true scores that the banks will use. Also, Credit Karma does not show all 3 credit scores. They only show TransUnion and Equifax. So you don't know what your Experian score is. And not every company. Gina, I probably did get your email. I check emails tomorrow. I haven't checked them today. So I will check them tomorrow. I try to do at least work on Sundays that I can. I give myself that Sabbath day and that day with my family and myself for my mental health. So first thing Monday, I would check emails. I think I told someone last night on YouTube Live that I would check them today. But I'm sticking to my ritual, because, you know, even Jesus needed to rest on Sunday or the Sabbath or whatever. You know, some religions think the Sabbath day is on Saturdays. But whatever, Jesus took one day out the week to rest. So I'm not checking emails today. I'm sticking to that. Don't care how many I receive, right? I need this one day of mental rest and relaxation. So I will check it first thing in the morning. So with Credit Karma, going back to that, not only is not the score that the credit union and the banks use, but also it only shows Experian and Equifax. So when people give these screenshots of, look at this 100 score increase, so you never know that person's Experian score. And sometimes when you're applying for credit cards, they don't pull from all 3 credit scores. They may just pull from Experian, or they may just pull from TransUnion. So you never know. Now with home mortgages, it's different, because home mortgages will, and they don't use Credit Karma as well, but home mortgages will look at your medium score, meaning that out of all 3 scores, they will look at the score that's in, not the lowest, not the highest, but the mid-range score. So with home mortgages, I'm about to drop some jewels and drop some knowledge. So if you're watching this live or in the replay, hit the jewel emoji. Hit the jewel emoji. My FICO is where you need to go. You do have to pay. But before you go to try to get refinanced, if you in high interest rate debt and you're trying to get a loan at lower interest rate, or you in high interest rate debt with a vehicle and you want refinancing, or you want to purchase a used vehicle with low interest rate, which is I recommend, because new vehicles automatically drop 15% in their value, which is called depreciating value, right? So what you need to understand, that when you sign up for my FICO, they're going Sallie Mae, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. I mean, not Sallie Mae, they're student loans. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are going to look. There's so many different FICO scores too. So they're going to look at FICO 2, 4, and 5. FICO 4 is usually the highest, most used model according to your state, but you never know. According to your state, your geographical location, it might be FICO 2, 4, or 5. Now, with a vehicle loan, the most widely used is FICO 8. So when my client signed up, and Gina, just go ahead and tell me what if you can do this openly, what the email was about. Because I can't say that I've received it. If you sent it Wednesday, I can't say that I've read it, because I have been checking emails Wednesday through Friday. So if it's something that you can post live, you can go ahead and post it now, and I'll try to answer it. If not, I'll check Monday for your email. So FICO 8 is what your credit union or your banks will use, or even when you go to the car vehicle shopping for a vehicle, and they're spitting your credit information to many banks and lender. FICO 8 is usually widely used. Now, it's also a myth that FICO 9 and Ultra FICO, which were new FICO scores that rolled out within the last 5 years, are not being used. So FICO 9 and Ultra FICO can be used per your request. And these are situations or circumstances in which people ask to use the FICO 9. When they go to a bank and they know on average that they keep a $400 or more balance in their checking account, and they pay their utilities on time, you can request that a lender use Ultra FICO because you keep over a $400 balance in your checking account. A lot of people did not know that. FICO 9 is used, I know personally, with Navy Fed, Penn Fed, and Wells Fargo. So INTUIT merging with credit or buying out Credit Karma, I say it that way, only means that what I've stated, AU trade lines are no longer going to be effective, because now, beginning this summer, banks and lenders and credit unions will look at your credit report for a 2-year window. In the past, when they pull your credit report, it will often be a 30-day window. They would take a snapshot of what your credit report would look like within the last 30 days. So that's why being added as someone's AU trade line, if you had no negatives, will help increase your credit score, right? And if you acted within 30 days of being added, you will be able to get approved for vehicle financing or a higher limit credit card or a business credit card, right? Or a personal credit card, right? Not necessarily a home mortgage, but it would help in the vehicle and credit card sector. So now they look at, because home mortgage entails so many different things, so many different financials. So again, INTUIT is already with TurboTax, already with Excel worksheet, and they're already with Mint. So that's your financial snapshot that I've been telling people, because now this new FICO 10 is not just going to look at if you have negative information reported on your credit report. They're going to look at your debt ratio at a higher rate. They're going to look at 2 years. How have you been paying down your debts? Not only have you been paying them on time, but have you been making significant decreases in your debts? So for example, when you could have high student loan debt in the past and still get approved for a mortgage, this may not be the case with FICO 10. Because it's not just looking at your debt to income ratio. It's looking at how long has this balance been carrying on this account, and how aggressively has this customer been paying it down. So let me give you an example. One example is, for example, if you have a $5,000 credit card, paying that balance down below $1,500 will give you an automatic increase or boost in your credit score. But now it's going to look at a 2-year window of how often you raise and decrease and charge and pay off and pay down, and how much you charge on that credit card. Did this person, for example, just pay down their credit card for $1,500 for the 30 days or 40 days because maybe they're trying to increase their credit score and get approval? Or does this person have a habit of keeping their credit card low, and maybe just for the last 3 months or 4 months they've spent more than normal on this credit card? Maybe they were vacationing, and maybe they were going on a trip or something, and they put more charge a balance during that time. But if you're a person that's over a 2-year time frame that keep high balances, and you're maxed out more than you pay down, and this is now even with personal loans, which is also called installment loans on your credit report. Credit cards are called revolving because you can revolve and recycle and use that money. Installment loans are loans that are fixed interest rate or can be adjustable interest rate, but your payment is a fixed amount. And so, or a fixed amount according to how you're paying on the debt, your minimum payments. Some installment loans or HELOCs are adjustable interest rates, so they work like credit cards as well. It's a home equity line of credit. So if you have high student loan debt and you're paying back the minimum income-based repayment, and you're not really tapping into paying that debt off over the minimum amount due, like your credit cards, that's going to affect you more highly than it did in the past. So that's why INTUIT is combining with Credit Karma, right? Because INTUIT provides the financial snapshot combination into your credit now. INTUIT looks at, if you're using TurboTax, looks at your taxes, your taxable income. It's going to be more focused on not only just the credit side. So getting credit sweeps now is over with. Getting AU trade lines now is over with. They're not going to look at your credit score for the last 30 and 60 days. A credit sweep is when you file identity theft on negative accounts, and you're stating someone stole your identity, and these accounts are not yours as a result. So what happens with credit sweeps is a credit sweep, if submitted, will state that I'm a victim of identity theft. And a lot of people have falsely made these statements. And so in doing so, the credit agencies, because they are assuming that someone has stole your identity, will put a temporary block on these negative accounts for 45 days, up to 40. They have to do it immediately, because you're saying someone has stolen your identity and has created fraudulent transactions. So as soon as that notification is provided, they will temporarily, right, is the word, temporarily block those accounts from showing on your credit report. But through their investigation, if they find out, which in most cases for most people that was doing these credit sweeps, that it is not true that you were a victim of identity theft and these accounts were actually yours and you did the transaction, they will replace these accounts on your credit report. And so people have been paying for credit sweeps and AU trade lines as a band-aid and temporarily fix. So now with INTUIT buying Credit Karma, you're not going to see too many updates. You're not going to see too many updates now that of these snapshots of these Credit Karma screenshots of credit scores, because it's going to look at a 2-year window. It's now going to look at how you're paying down your debts. It's now going to look at your financials included. So hey, that's just it. My friend guy and I were talking, and he was stating, or he was informing me that he believes there is something more that's going to happen before the election this year besides the coronavirus. And what you all need to understand, that this is what they call the black swan effect on the economy. Black swan is something that's totally unexpected that hits and hurts the economy. Like Ebola did a temporary effect on the economy in 2014 during President Obama's administration. In 1918, it was the swan flu, right? And 9/11, 2010, 2011, it was 9/11 that hit. So those are unexpected events. And my friend guy was telling me in our conversation that he believes something else is going to come up before the election. And I said, I know exactly what it is. It's going to be these credit score drops. And what's going to happen is people that have been following me for years, people that have been, giving me likes, giving me comments, sharing this, reaping good benefits out of me sharing my time and dropping these knowledge in videos, they're going to now try to bombard me when they get it updated. If they have some type of credit monitoring system, whether they're with Credit Karma or whether they are with Experian, they're going to get an email update that, boom, your credit score has dropped 20 points. And so what is that going to mean when we're already struggling. They've already just make news articles today. You know, you all have these smartphones. You need to update your smartphones and start looking at your news app. And so they're saying in the news app that this coronavirus not only has the first death been recorded in the United States, but it's widespreading in other countries, and it's looking like we will experience a global depression. So what's a global depression? That means that it's not just going to be the United States, it's going to be other countries. And so our imports and exports from other countries is now going to also impact the United States. That's why the stocks did its biggest 10% drop in history. Right? In history since, I think, what year did they say that was? The Great Depression, I think, since the 1930s. And I'm also going to upload the video on my YouTube of the Great Depression because, you know, a lot of us have never even watched the video and understood what those people experienced when the stock market crashed and how bad it was. Well, that's predicting that we are headed into that time. Now, history might not always repeat itself, but history can rhyme. Meaning that it might not happen the exact same way, but it can happen very similar. And I'm telling, you know, I try to inform people, 1980s is the last economic reset we went through with the oil industry. And then in 1980s, when it went in 2000 to the dot bubble, right? And then so you got 80s and going into the 90s. Then you got 10 years, 2000, the dot-com bubble. And then even in the small economic recession with 9/11 between 2000 and 2008 that happened. And then in 2008, it was the housing market where people that were unqualified were still approved for loans in the housing market. And then when those adjustable rates kicked in, they couldn't afford their payments, or they had subprime loans. They've only changed it during the Obama administration to a non-prime. So every 10 years, the economy resets itself. And it has to, because people are in astronomical debt. So right now, in 2020, we're looking at, for the first time, student loan debt and automobile debt and repossession is higher than credit card debt. So you have the coronavirus, you have student loan debt, vehicle debt, and on top of credit scores dropping, that's going to be a part of this recession. Beverly says they started in 2008. They said nothing about 19. What started? What is they? You said they started? I'm assuming you're trying to say that started. But I was talking about the 1930s, the Great Depression. The highest stock market drop, 10%. It just repeated itself in history the last couple of days. And if you have a smart app on your phone that's informing you about the coronavirus, it's an update that we are likely to experience a global depression or recession. Globally. Already the coronavirus has affected the United States, especially in the automobile and steel industry and the farming agriculture industry, because products and produce cannot be shipped in. Supplies have been cut down. So you got Hyundai, Kia, Nissan. All of these companies cannot ship supplies in because their economy is affected. So yeah, I'm going to upload a video. You all need to subscribe to me on YouTube, The Queen of Credit. I'm going to upload a video on the 1930 depression. You need to look at that. Stated 2008 since the drop of the economy. What stated? I know 2008 was the housing market, so I'm not really sure what you're saying.
Sorry, please speak.
Okay. My car is talking to me.
Please repeat your request. Please speak.
I don't know what that is, but let me log off. My car is talking to me. So, I'll talk to you soon, Miss Phillips. I'll check for your email Monday. Queen of
System
Credit.
off.
You all have a great day. My car is talking to me.